Alright, what's going on, people? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan, and a different change of scenery in the boudoir, here where the magic most certainly doesn't happen. I'll make a joke about the only P word I'll be getting in here. Say hi, Mia. Anyway, welcome back to Football Therapy. Hope you're doing well. I really do hope that. Today we are discussing Chelsea managers. Could Luis Enrique won a treble with Barcelona, of course, maybe underperformed with Spain, desperate to get back into work. Is this the guy for Chelsea? What are they going to do? They want a project manager. Can they find one? Is he out there? We'll talk about that. I also want to talk about Raheem Sterling seemingly committed to Chelsea and committed to the project. Is he just committed to his 300k a week and living back in London? Or is that unfair? Lots to get into today. I'm really keen to talk about it with you. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for supporting the content. Why can't I put my hand straight? Too late. Thanks for liking and subscribing. It really means a lot. It's a good way of supporting the content and your content creator. Okay, so I want to start off with Raheem Sterling. The reports are suggesting from Fabrizio Romano and others that he is indeed really committed to Chelsea amidst this rebuild and amidst Chelsea trying to restructure wages and how players get paid. Essentially, they want to do the whole a low basic and then the incentive-based structure, so, you know, everyone's on a similar amount, like 97k a week, like what Mikhailo Mudrik's on, but he has the capacity to increase that a lot if he performs. And I think this is where there is an impasse with Mason Mount's contract. People are suggesting that Reece James got in around, you know, before this new structure, you know, like when Koulibaly got in, Sterling got in. These players that get paid a lot, but yeah. So right, hold on. This cat is gonna knock the computer over. So the thing is with Sterling, he's on 300k a week. He's Chelsea's highest earner. Now, I'm not gonna suggest this is a travesty. No one had huge issues with this when he signed. Raheem Sterling has won multiple Premier Leagues. He's a leader, an important player for England. He's won loads of trophies, and he's generally put out consistent numbers in the Premier League for many years. And he trains really well, is professional, and, you know, is a bit of an ambassador for the game off the pitch as well. Fine. We didn't spend crazy money on him. We got him for a relatively good deal, 47 million. No matter what you think, that is a good deal considering what he represented at the time. So 300k a week, fine. You know, he could be relatively talismanic. I don't think anyone thought he was going to be Eden Hazard, but he was going to represent this high quality player that could always train, hopefully be fit quite a lot, even though he's been injured, and hopefully just consistently put out good numbers, not astronomical numbers, but good numbers, and bring this sort of professionalism and leadership into the dressing room that Chelsea are sorely lacking. And when I say leadership, you might think, Sterling, he's not like a captain, but apparently, for the England team, he's you know, a proper leader in the dressing room. So, you know, fine, I'm here for all of it. Now, with this rebuild, the restructure, and bringing on all these new young wide attackers, the camera's moving because the cat's walking around under the laptop stand. People thought, okay, well, this might be the end of, this could be the end of Raheem Sterling, or at least, he might get less time. How is he going to react to that? Apparently, he's reacted really, really well. He's training really, really hard, and the report suggesting he is not focusing on anywhere else. He can't wait to get back into the team and start, you know, turning things around. And despite this, you know, dismal energy around the club and from the outside, certainly by fans and indeed pundits and people in the media, understandably, by the way, Chelsea are doing awful. So that's always going to bring this criticism, and that's always going to bring these questions and, you know, negative attitude, of course. So it's all you know, it's all understandable. But apparently players aren't that unhappy, or a lot of them, they're like, you know what, yeah, this is crap and this needs to change. But a lot of them are happy with how things are structured and how things are going to move forward and the investment. Oi, Cap. So, they'll be like, yeah, yes, we want to win. Yes, we want to win, but like, we're all good people. There's no toxicity between, players necessarily. We've spoken to the owners, the coaching staff. We understand what they want to do long term. And this is aside from Graham Potter, away from Graham Potter. You hear Fabrizio Romano saying, like, players still want to come to Chelsea. Would you believe it? Would you actually believe it? Players still interested in coming to Chelsea, despite them being in 10th and having uncertainty around the manager, because the project is still there to be seen. We don't work in football, as in like, well, I work in like media football, but we don't work like within the industry. When you work within an industry, and you can translate this or whatever, use as an example to your own work. You know so many things about it other people won't know, like the niche elements of how it works, the ins and outs. There'll be things that you see that aren't, visible from the outside, and you'll be like, well, this is why this is a good time to get into this part of the company or this industry or this unit, because yes, they don't look good now, but all the investment, time and energy it's put in should pay dividends. It's like someone that works in the stock market, right? When they buy low or whatever, or they see when a stock or a commodity is about to go up, they see the trend, the landscape, the foundation they're building to accommodate a growth, without trying to sound like too, overly analytical on it. So, I reckon that's what Raheem Sterling is seeing and a lot of players are seeing. And maybe that's with, or indeed without, Graham Potter. There is the circulating stories, Will speaks on the gaffer now, that he's got a couple of games to save his job, which I thought would never happen with this ownership. Not that he wouldn't get sacked, but this like really old school generic way of looking at the game, like 2 games to save his job. But it kind of does seem like that, doesn't it? Like the Leeds and Dortmund game, the Leeds and Dortmund game, and should he? It looks like there's an earthquake. Sorry, I need to move this cat. If he loses both of them and the season's like over, you'd have to assume he can't go on. That's it. Like a fruity pirate. So what do you do? Like, I think probably if there was like, right, he has to go, the main reason is toxicity in the fan base. And you think that's not the kind of thing that would make them flinch, but with this new fan-led board, I do genuinely think they want to listen to the fans to a degree, and they see it as important. So say it's Stamford Bridge, turn on Graham Potter, say there's banners, say there's chants, say there's protests, and he has to go. They're like, right, this can't go on, he has to go. So they sack Graham Potter. I don't necessarily think they're just going to bring in a Luis Enrique, who is reportedly, so say if Fabrizio Romano, reportedly desperate to get back into work. I don't think they do that. I think, honestly, most of Potter's staff would go with him, but there's one member of staff that wouldn't go with him, and has predated him for 2 coaches now. And no, it's not Steve Holland, who was always Steve Holland before. It is, of course, Anthony Barry, brought in for like set pieces and defences. But yeah, really, really high-rated young coach. By the way, Anthony Barry is 36 years old. There's no disrespect to him, whatever, but he is like 2 years older than me. And the dude looks like, I'm not saying I look particularly young, but the dude looks like he could be 50, no, or like, 40s, like, maybe late 40s. But hey, we all look different, and he's a Premier League coach, so who am I to critique anyone? But anyway, I'd give it to Anthony Barry. Apparently he's a really highly rated coach. He might just go for a little bit more primitive structure. I don't know, being presumptuous. Maybe because he's done a lot of work with Lampard and Tuchel, he might revert to a back 3 system and just be like, right, back 3, double 6, doing the old Tuchel, mate, wing backs and a really attacking front 3. A lot of people would want Luis Enrique, and then maybe they play this like Barcelona 4-3-3. He is a good coach. He apparently he's a great guy by all accounts, And he won a treble with Barcelona after Guardiola. Did he win their last Champions League? I guess he won their last Champions League. I mean, he did have the MSN front line and, that amazing midfield as well. So there is that. But, yeah, so he's got, like, pedigree, and he'll want to play that kind of attacking party football, and he will have those players available to him in the Chelsea squad, because I made a video on it the other day about how I think Chelsea got the best squad in the Premier League. Certainly we've got the capacity to play probably any football you want. Granted, you might need time, and you might need an extra couple of players over time to bring them in, but you've got resources there to play a style of football as you want. The main thing is keeping everyone happy. But that's tough, but we will have an exodus at Chelsea. We will have a clear out at Chelsea, and that will offer the opportunity. Now, there's been no offers. The reporters like Fabrizio Romano are suggesting that there's been no contact with Luis Enrique. He is desperate to get back into work, and we know agents are offering their clients to Chelsea, manager clients. And one would have to assume that behind the scenes, Chelsea are doing work covering bases just in case this does happen. They will try and keep that airtight so that it doesn't get out in the media, but you'd have to assume that's happening right now. You just have to assume that's the case. So that's really interesting. But if we win the next 2 games, is there a road to redemption for Graham Potter? I know, like, most of the fans have just been constantly saying, why isn't he out yet? Why isn't he out? Get him out, get him out, get him out. I can't see any positive. Right now, from what we've seen, there's no reason to believe Chelsea will ever win a game of football again, let alone score a goal. But what if we beat Leeds and beat Dortmund and go through? Dortmund have won every single game since the winter break. I said that before when we played them, and they've continued to win the following 2 games that they played. So they were 1-7, now they've won 9. Dortmund just win. They're in a title race, they're joint top of the Bundesliga. If Chelsea knock them out of the Champions League, that is something. And if Chelsea advance, if Graham Potter does that, he probably just keeps his job for the season, even if we get, like, crap again and the rest of the seasons. But I think that sort of moment will keep him to the end, because there'd be no point in sacking him. There'd just be no point. Well, until looking at the summer. It's really interesting. I wanted to talk about that. I thought they were interesting talking points. So, yeah, I wanted to, hopefully you enjoyed it, change of scenery. Good lighting in here, of course, as well, with the sun out. I think it's a south-facing window, maybe. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And yeah, friends, I look forward to seeing you in the next video very, very soon. Mwah! Peace.